Okay.
Yeah.
Are we all set?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But first of all, how was your day? Let's start with that. Eventually, it'll become more casual and chill as we go into questions. How was your day? How's your day been today? It's almost the end of the day.
So I just had classes, and like I usually been sleeping like around 9-10 just because I've been very tired for the last week. But then like, oh shit, today there's 11 o'clock this recording, so I had to sleep at like 12 in the afternoon. Slept at like 6 or something. I woke up and then Gokul has like something regarding work, and I have to join that meet. And I was like, there was another 3 hours of work, and then hey, I'm finally here.
That sounds like a fun day.
Not really.
That was supposed to be sarcastic, but it's fine. Anyway, doesnest matter. But
This
yeah,
is
the
what
rest of
counts
you,
as fun. This is
I
what
know,
counts as a
dude,
fun
this
day
is-
for us now.
this
Okay.
is good. Okay, just couple of things, okay? When you're talking, make sure your hands don't come in front of your face, because that's one thing. What?
That's gotta be really.
Sandhya is just like, why am I here?
Oh,
Everyone are like.
I lost connection.
Anyway, Yogesh is more why am I here than Sandhya.
Yogesh is like,
Yogesh is
can
still
I
wondering
just
why
get this done
Alika
with? No, bro. Okay, fine. Cool. That just a couple of things to notice. Make sure your hands don't come in front of your face, and then like, yeah, if you're not audible, I'll let you know. So that should be fine, right? Set. Say something.
Yes.
Yes.
No,
yes,
no.
yes.
But okay, let's start with like the first thing that usually comes into someone's mind when you talk about this whole everything being online, right? How has the shift been for you personally and for the team? Because you're all part of some of the best cultural clubs in South India, inside NIT. And then how has the shift from like offline to online been for you?
I'm not gonna lie. For at least for Thespi, it's been very tough because theater, as the name suggests, it's a very in-person thing. Like yeah, sure, you can watch it over internet, or you can watch it on a screen, but you can't perform it through a camera. You have to be on stage. You have to be the energy. Energy is very lacking when you're doing it through a Zoom meeting or through Google Meets. We just found it very hard for us to train our juniors, for us to work by ourselves, just mainly because there's not the energy is lacking, and it's very hard to express ourselves and our emotions while sitting in a chair. Yeah, hi, how are you? It's just very hard for us.
I'm sure. And how has it been for MT? Yeah.
It was similar to Thespi actually. It's been really hard. I feel really bad that our juniors are missing out on a lot of experiences. When I say experiences, what I mean is it's not just the act of making music. I mean, making music you can actually like just sit in a room and you can make it. You can make it in your bedroom as well. But what we are really missing is like what typically happens is we have an empty room, so it happens on Friday evenings, and along with what's happening in MT, they like if you look outside, you'll have this a group of people playing football in the track and field, or NCC candidates doing their drills, or even Thespi, they'll be doing vocal warm-ups down like in the ground floor. So like those very small things, like we are missing that vibe, I would say.
Right. Then Sandhya?
Yeah, so the shift from offline to online, the major two problems which I can say have been, being able to connect with people. Like before, when we used to come for practice, we would, wake up our batchmates if they were still sleeping, just go to the rooms, check on them, go to our seniors' rooms, learn choreos, stuff like that. And we would meet them in the mess. And so in that way, we'd have a sort of connection with everybody. But now it's like if they don't show up for the session on Teams, then we don't see them at all. We never see anybody in passing. So it's difficult. We have to keep a really rigorous, track of who's coming, who's not coming. And, we have to go out of our way to ask them what's wrong, what's up. Because like only if we have an individual connection with each member of the team will everybody feel like they're actually a part of something. And another thing which I would say is finding the motivation. We're just at home and we don't really, and there's no stage, there's no Festember stage or some competition stage. That stage feeling isn't there, which is like a lot. Like I would honestly say like 80% of the motivation for any dancer would be to go and perform on a stage and receive, that vibe and that admiration from others after, a dance well performed. But now that that's not there, we got to find motivation in more like within ourselves. We are learning, we are doing well. So it's more like a self thing rather than seeking from outside.
Right. Rajiv?
Yeah, it's not as rewarding for sure, but and also when you go down to record your video, everyone just thinks you're the TikTok dancer of the building. Everyone's just walking by like, oh yeah, it's him. But yeah, and the whole experience of just being on stage, like every time I'm on stage with my troupe, it's always like that scene from Kung Fu Panda 2. Have you guys seen the one where he's the final battle and like all his like legendary like sirs and his best mates are like surrounding him? He's like, oh shit, this is it. So it's always that scene when we start like any choreo on stage and like music blasting from the background and then just seeing the crowd go crazy. That whole feeling is just like missing. It's really sad. Like especially now since it's on Zoom, like juniors don't even know about like the college rivalries we have with other troops. Like it's just like, oh, we just dance in the evening. But before, like that was our drive to go. Like, oh, next year we have to beat them in this competition, that competition. But yeah, we're just missing out on a lot.
And
And
the
again,
whole like
for-
competition thing also is just completely changed now. Like I remember like 2020 Unmad or something, we were all there. I think DT was also there, no? And we
Yeah.
would see other people prepare and they would be setting up their sets and all, and we would just be looking at them and like doing secretly and all of that. And now it is just like sending a PDF and saying, "Hey, did you get any feedback?" that is the extent of online competitions now. We have to just send a link to a drive for a video. We have to upload it, and they have to judge us and send it back. That's just kind of sad. And we can't voice train our juniors, man. Like that was half of test P. That was half of test P work. Is like
that was
hey, you have to
definitely
be
a big
loud.
chunk.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the current juniors who got inducted, they didn't get voice training, but just the previous batch itself. So we might be the last batch that got voice trained at SP. And that's kind of sad. Like every now and then we just send a message in the group like, hey, we might be the last batch that went to Udman. We might be the last batch that did this.
But actually it almost felt like everything came into a standstill, right? Like how we went around and all of you were talking about, like, say, finding motivation, and like Sandhya said, it gets harder with time. You would think it probably you'd get used to it and maybe it'll become a little bit easier, but the fact that you're reaching out to people, making sure they're in the loop, or like how they're feeling in that, it's also a very exhausting process, right? Like making sure your team is okay, because you yourself are also going through it while your team's is also going through it, right? So how have you managed to, like, say, find that motivation that you talk about? Because you're still there, you're still doing, you're putting content out, people are reaching out, you're reaching out to the people, and in all fairness, in whatever format you put content out, I'm pretty sure it makes somebody smile somewhere, right? They open their phone and they're like, oh, okay, you know what, this person did this, and it makes you feel nice in whatever aspect. How have, like, just a quick just we can just go around people and like hear them say how do you find that motivation?
So for me, what I felt is, coming to final year, whatever you've learned till now, it's, time to give something back. So like, however hard it is, I feel like if you put the effort now, you will really reap the rewards, especially at the end of the year, because we've like attended 3 farewells, and DD farewells are always like, they're a whole vibe, and it's just and you can actually kind of tell the difference between those seniors who have really left an impact on their juniors and those who really haven't. Though we try to put equal effort into everybody's gifts and videos and stuff like that, you can really tell who has made an impact and who hasn't. So every time I go to these farewells, I always kind of aspire to be the senior who, you know, everybody kind of looks up to and who the troop is kind of dependent on. So I feel it's a satisfaction for me. And I don't want to waste everybody's time either. Like everybody has joined the troop for a reason and we got to keep that going. So yeah.
And Gokul, do you want to go?
Yeah. Like everybody joined the troop for a reason. It makes a lot of sense. Personally, I don't have any motivation whatsoever. I don't know where to find motivation. If you can tell me, please help. But if you like, the thing is, our juniors are in a terrible situation compared to the way we learned theater in TESP, but they've gotten so much better somehow that it's still like very rewarding to like watch them do things. I don't know, like they haven't been on stage at all, these people, but it's nice to see them get better, and that makes sense. That we kind of got we teach in TESP, we like teach theater in and around, right? Nobody joins because they know theater also. So it's nice to see that like we have made some impact. So some progress is being made, whether or not it's on stage. That is nice.
Yogesh, how do you find the motivation that you have to like do the things that you're doing now? Like, because you're still putting content out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that is the motivation. The fact we are uploading covers and like trying to have a schedule and try to upload in a weekly manner. Like, that itself is motivational. In fact, like in my batch itself, like many people like kind of lost motivation. So what I always like told them was, in 10 years time, like you all will kind of your domain will become narrower and narrower. You won't have time to make music or get to form bands or anything like that, and maybe you'll even get married or have kids in like 10-15 years. So maybe in case it's motivation for them, I'll tell them what I tell them is, in another 15 years you can show your kid and be like, that is a I don't want to mention exactly, like that is Yogesh and that is like your uncle or whoever.
Oh, okay.
Auntie, whoever.
That's pretty sweet.
That's so sweet.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
But do you all, Rajiv, Milan, do you guys have anything to add?
Like,
Can you beat that?
I mean, for me, it's a more immediate thing. Like Gokul was saying, of how much better our juniors have become. Like the juniors, they have no experience on stage. They have had none of the rewarding feelings that we've had, like going on Unmaad, hearing that we've won the best play. They've had none of that feeling. So I don't know how they're still in the club, and they're still like they're still relatively enthusiastic. And I guess that that's sort of like helping me also. Like I'm staying in the club, and I'm like trying my best to do something for the juniors so that they can have a good time in the club, so that they can at least get a smidget of what I had when I was in second year. And wow, how much my seniors have done for me. I want to do at least a bit of that for my juniors, and I'm trying very
Got me
hard.
ice cream and all, no?
Oh yeah, you got me ice cream. Thank you.
Yeah. Rajiv?
Motivation wise, honestly, social media doesn't help. Just seeing everyone post content is like, so it's a lot of pressure that, oh shit, also I have to put out content as well. And that's the worst. It's like you can't think of anything at that point. Your mind is just blank. So I think, so every final year in DT, last few years, the last year is when they have this like iconic choreo that just stays longer than they did in the DT. So like their juniors are all learning it. They're like, oh, you remember that choreo? So I just hope by the end of this year, I have a couple of choreos where everyone's like, oh, that's Rajiv's choreo. And then the kids doing that 4 years down the, like we have seniors who are doing like choreos from like 10 years back. And we're just like, how is that still alive? So I hope I leave that impression. So I'm working towards that. And also just be that IL that all the juniors look up to, so they have a bar to beat. That's mainly it.
Right.
A lot of it seems to be coming back to like juniors. And Yogesh's
I think
case,
the fact
I think
that
it's because
have
you took it
people-
there.
no, but like Yogesh's case, kids. But anyway, it's just like leaving something.
That's
weird,
too
I guess.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but in all fairness, because I think in a certain sense, with you taking up roles of responsibility, you feel the need to be there and do it. And it's amazing how you have found the time, and you're investing that energy to make it like that, because it is difficult to keep it running Because when we all went into, say, lockdown, and the whole country went to lockdown, everything went online, no one had an idea of how long this was going to last. It's been a while, a long while, and it's still there. So it's very difficult to keep things going for this long and also keep it interesting. So it's kudos to all of you. Like, you know, like I really do mean it, because it's very difficult to do it. And so it's great work that you all been putting out. Like, I've seen pretty much, the 3 Instagram profiles, you know, like BT, MT, TESP, all of it. And it's a lot of fun, because we didn't have that kind of content. And like, I can only imagine what it would have been like, say, when we were all back in college, if suddenly something had gone online and I was someone who was responsible to like create content. Would I have been able to do what you're doing? I don't know. But maybe the situation would have pushed me to do something. But you know, that's a fun thing to maybe someday look back on. But another question that we can maybe go through now, based on what you were talking about, is what has been your biggest learning through the pandemic? Because you are all the faces of, like, say, the cultural clubs, right? When we think of, like, say, cultural clubs, it's going to be DT, MT, TESP, and we have a bunch of others. But like right now on this call, it's the 3 of you. I mean, the 3 clubs, and then all of you. So what has been something that you're always going to keep close to your heart? What's been your biggest learning? Something that you probably didn't expect and it happened, and like, you're like, okay, this is going to be my biggest takeaway from this whole pandemic situation.
So one thing is our approach to how to take the year, because previously all years it was just grinding throughout the year. So it's just till Festember you have to make a whole routine, and then from there on you just have to keep revising that routine, making it better and more posh, like for like grander competitions. But now there are no competitions, so everyone's just working on themselves as an artist. Like, oh, how do I improve myself in some skill? Or like, instead of going with a set pattern, just take some time, just like get your head in the right space to be creative and then come out with content. So I just think right now, one thing I've learned is just take your time. Even if you're not feeling it, just don't do it. Just do something else. Just breathe for a while and then get back into it. And then you'll get even better content.
Yeah, agreed. Milan?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Oh yeah, please go on. I'm so sorry. I thought there was a pause. That's fine.
Yeah.
Gokul,
No, like, yeah. So, oh wait, now I forgot what Rashi said.
I totally agree with Raju.
That's where
I don't know what I agreed with is what I mean. Oh, taking breaks. Oh yeah.
Taking a breather and like bettering yourself as an artist. I was listening, see?
Thank you.
So yeah. Like, if you
So you just agree to nothing? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh my god.
This is the problem when you record at like 2 a.m. or like 12 a.m. in the middle of the night. Everyone's tripping on nothing.
So
this definitely has to go into the video.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Blooper reels.
The blooper will be longer than the real video.
Yogesh has very low expectations from this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's being
He
realistic.
was so embarrassed.
Yeah, he's being realistic.
He's like, I'm not showing this to my kids.
Dude, I put my name just like I don't want to mention anyone in empty. Like,
No, but-
I didn't say this
No,
for
no,
myself.
no, but like
When I
no,
show
it
this to my
makes
kids, I will leave this part out.
Yeah.
sense. This part,
Yeah.
like we made videos with so
This is
many
one
people.
chapter. Sandhya, you would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, stop distracting. Wait, okay.
Yes.
About like, oh my god, I forgot it. Yeah. Taking breaks.
Yeah.
Okay, taking breaks. Yeah. All right. Stop laughing or like, or I'll forget again.
Serious
Yeah.
face.
Hard cut.
Yeah. So, taking breaks really is important, because like some pressure, it kind of works both ways. Personally, for me, like, if I constantly put a pressure on myself to do something, then I won't be able to do it. It's like more like taking breaks, getting ideas, and then the execution. When there's a deadline, I'll finish off the final execution just before the deadline. But yeah, like taking breaks really is important, so that you can really kind of get the creative juices flowing. Yeah.
For me, I think the most important thing I've learned during this entire quarantine was how important relationships and like interpersonal connections are for all of us. Like, for us it was very hard to interact with our juniors, and we felt like there was a weird divide. But then when I was talking to my seniors, when I was talking to my juniors, there was this very weird difference. Like seniors, I was very close with, like, because I could talk to them face to face, I could interact with them, we had common interest, and we spent like a 1.5 or maybe 2 years, like interacting with them. But with juniors, we had maybe a week at best to talk to them, and then it was almost nothing. So it was very hard working with them, especially in a club environment. Like if it was professional environment, it's a different matter. So I think that was my biggest takeaway from this whole lockdown situation.
Um, yeah, my biggest learning would be that don't always go with the flow. In the sense, sometimes you just have to pause and ask yourself why are you doing things, and yeah, and you have to retrospect. Whether the things that you've chosen, do you really want to progress further? Because sometimes it might be too late, or the cost of turning back and restarting might be a lot. So if you realize that early on, you could change it. And second is, I would say, I kind of realized that socializing is not a supplement to life, but rather a compulsory requirement to maintain your well-being, like in general.
Fair. Yeah.
I
Who else
realized
is
that I
there?
don't like
Gokul?
holidays. I don't like holidays anymore.
I think that's more because you work through the night and like through the day. That's you.
No, but it's also, I think I need the structure of a work day to be able to enjoy myself when I am enjoying myself. Otherwise, it is just guilty enjoying myself the whole day, and it's never it's never been healthy. But yeah,
Right.
I have had to. I mean, the next time I have to take more than a month of break from anything, I will know then how to schedule my day so that I don't slack off or I don't feel like
Right.
really guilty the whole day. So yeah, I guess that is something you've taken away. Other than that, yeah, we have had to innovate, right? All of us would have learned something about how to change to the online medium. We're Tespi is this close to becoming film society. Okay, so like we have had to learn things to be
Yeah.
able to exist right now.
These are
We
new
had
skills though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had to learn new, marginally like different skills. They were not that different from what we were doing. We've like done radio dramas and all of that. It's not that different, but yeah, it is different in practice. So that is something that we've learned.
Perfect. But again, like, it all comes down to bettering yourself as like artists and setting up a routine and things like that, right? Again, going back to what Raji said, you said people are like now, like say, at least what you've probably come across is that learning new skills and making sure that you're bettering yourself as an artist and a human being. Is there any new art form or like a new kind of skill that you've all developed through the quarantine and like the lockdown?
I would probably say voice acting. Like that's the first thing that would come to my mind, because we've been doing a lot of audio dramas, and that requires a
Right.
lot of voice acting. And like when we are in campus, we could express a lot more with our faces, with our bodies, with how we walk, with the props that we have laying around us. But when we are going to go through an audio setting, the only thing we can do is change our voice, modulate the voice, enunciate more, talk more clearly, talk more faster, talk more slower. So it, while it is also it is similar to what we were doing, it is also vastly different. Then also, because of necessity, I've been forced to learn how to edit. That's another life skill that I'm gonna have for a while.
See, now you can help
Actually, even
Gokul edit
DT.
this also.
I'm not gonna help him. He's on his own. I know how to do, but I'm not willing to do it. That's two different things.
I wish I could,
Okay,
but I
Raji?
don't want to.
Okay.
No, definitely. So even DT, we've started like video editing. We're almost going to take like classes and stuff just to learn, because it adds a lot to your dance performance. Like it makes just a plain video of you just moving into like the effects and all. It just makes it more entertaining, especially since Insta Reels are very demanding. Like if it's not entertaining or like rewatchable, like it's just like one swipe away from like no one seeing it again. But so yeah, I don't know. We've started editing. Apart from that, I don't know. Personally, I tried vlogging, but no, that didn't work out too well. Vlogging. I think everyone tried podcasting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wow.
these are things I hope to never show anymore.
Vlogging, that is very interesting. How did that go?
Yeah, not too
Proof.
good. It was
Is there any
Things or it
trace
didn't
of this?
happen. Yeah.
like yeah, it's just on my laptop. It's like, you know, you see all these like proper cinematographers going like, oh, this swish, and then suddenly it's like a sky, and then this is all these really cool transitions. I had
Right.
those expectations, but no, you can't do much from one room.
Right.
One skill which I learned, again, editing. Trying to learn, new forms of dance, because like personally I'm like trained in Bharatanatyam, like classical dance, and so like I've been learning since I was really young, like 5 or something, so I'm like totally rooted in that, and I haven't taken a break either. I've just been dancing like all my life in Bharatanatyam. So yeah, so coming to DT, I learned new styles from my seniors, but now that my seniors are not there, so now it's kind of upon me to me and my batchmates to help the juniors with new styles and stuff. So I've been trying to learn different styles of dance, and also this is something which every senior must do. But yeah, choreographing, that's kind of a responsibility that comes on the seniors in their final year. And yeah, so I tried it out. Like since last year, I've been trying out choreographies, and I found out that I really, really enjoy it, and it kind of opened up. It kind of made dance even more interesting than it already was for me. So yeah, that was good.
That's fun. Yogesh?
There was this short period where I was like very free for like 2 months. So there's probably no mainstream hobby that I did not try. Like I never thought I would like try cooking or something, but I did. I tried dancing. I tried drawing. I was trying for. I mean, I had to learn video editing for for making music through videos. Then like along with that, I was learning some things about photography, cinematography, like learning about the lens and all. Um, yeah. Apart from that, I took some time to like learn a little bit more about theory, like music theory.
That sounds fun. Gokul?
I went to dance classes for 2 months and then got corona.
Hey, what? What did you say?
I went to dance classes for 2 months and then I got corona. And then everybody in the
Oh,
dance
corona,
class
okay.
also got. Everybody in the dance class had to shut down, like leave. But I think they gave me corona. So
Come to DT.
Inductions happening right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
fine.
just one question to everyone. Does anyone have this idea in their head, like this final piece of work they want to do, just waiting for the offline sem? That they're just like
Not for
saving.
me. Cool.
why do you think I
Does
went to
anyone
dance
have this?
classes, Rajiv?
Really? No, but like I meant like in Thespi. Like you have this final like
Yes.
idea that you want to implement. Oh, you were all gonna
Yeah.
dance. Thespi was gonna do it.
No, but like I want to like. Okay, so I wasn't into musicals and performances before the pandemic. I think Hamilton came out in July. That is, oh my god, it's been so long, but it's still within the pandemic. It's still within the scope of the pandemic. So I got really into musicals and I started watching and listening to a bunch of them. So I wanted to. I realized that I was really bad at 2 out of the 3 things that you need to do in a musical, and I just
3 out of
tried
3.
Which is
Acting.
acting.
Acting, dancing, singing.
Acting,
Okay.
dancing, singing, and math.
okay. What did we talk about? Right. We spoke about the moment. Yeah, actually, you know what? We can actually talk about it. Is there any particular moment with respect to like you and the team? It could be about inductions, about some performance you guys did that that really is going to just stay with you forever? Something that was just very special. You know, like when you look back at the 1.5 years that you've spent online, is there anything that's just gonna bring you, bring a little smile on your face when you think about it? Everyone's just smiling, but no one's
Next
saying anything.
question.
No.
Nothing.
I would,
Rajiv
I
is,
would,
he's thinking about too many things. We should make Rajiv go first.
No, is this okay? One thing definitely is for our farewell, it's a grand thing, right? Like how Sandhya said. So it's how seniors, we make collab videos about our seniors making fun of them, and then they give us this one very dramatic video where it'll make everyone cry. Okay, and so we didn't expect the first years who just joined to like care about it, like because they just joined, they have no emotional attachment to the team or the seniors. But then we just saw them all stand and like tearing up, and it's just like, oh, it's like they're part of the team. It's like, oh, we have to look up to these kids now. They're like one of us now. And then every meet after practice, them just staying for that extra 10 minutes just to see if anyone was to talk or just have a conversation with us. It's just these small elements that mean a lot to us. Apart from that, no, not much.
I'm pretty sure Tespi
For
juniors
me-
aren't watching this, but if you are, please take note. We said nice things about you today.
They're all sweet. They'll be fine. But Milan, did you just say no? Did you just not know?
Edit,
Did
edit.
no.
I didn't know it to the camera. I did it to the other camera.
You're still also recorded on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, like ironically, I think it would be inductions. The thing is, like, so when we first entered this lockdown, there were 4 batches, like 4th years, 3rd years, and us who were in 2nd years, and then 1st years. 1 year passed, and it was just like 3rd year, 2nd years, and 1st years. The 4th years had passed out, and another year passed, and all of a sudden we were 4th years. The 1st years were 3rd years, and we were ready to induct one new batch because it's been too long since we've inducted. And at that point in time, my batch, at least we felt quite alone because we were close to the seniors, more or less, and they had left us. So we didn't know what to do. And the juniors, no offense to them, like we didn't get a chance to know them, they didn't get a chance to know us. And there was a disconnect between both the batches. But during this whole process of inductions, the batches came together. We started talking to each other. We started chilling on calls, talking this, and stopped talking about work all the time. Just chatted shit, talked about life, talked about what they want to do, try to spill some tea. And after the inductions, there was this one moment where almost everyone from the batch, just both the batches came together. We were just talking and just having a grand old time. And I thought, like, in the last 1.5 years, that is probably my favorite moment in Thespi, just because that was like what I missed from Thespi, being back in college, us talking to everyone, us just making fun of everyone, us shitting on Gokul for doing too much work, us shitting on Prathamesh for not doing enough work. That's what I missed the most, to be honest. And that's what
Right.
I really cherish the most.
We now have this shared experience with our juniors of being seniors. So we're just able to bond with them much more. Like any moments that we can grab onto, the like last 1 year, we've had maybe 2 or 3 times where we've had a deep conversation about life with more than 3 people at the same time. So that's always nice. We are a small club, right? We don't get chances like that a lot. Even in offline sem, we get maybe 10 to 15 times a year. We sit down and have a conversation. So those are very nice. Whenever we have them, whenever we get the chance to have them, I always like stay back after meetings are over just in case.
For you, Yogesh?
I would say, the time we spend during our meet discussing meaningless metrics about how to make our Instagram popular. Like, yeah, I guess, like, it's kind of pointless, but I just go with it. Like, I mean,
Right.
like it'll be something which I can look back at.
Sandhya?
Yeah, so the moment which I would like kind of cherish the most is at a point of time in our team there was kind of there was not much of a connect between the batches. Yeah, it was expected, like, because the shifts to online, yeah. So we didn't know how to handle it. But then I found out from my junior batch that they felt like they felt like they didn't want to be a part of the team, but they felt a connection with me and my batchmates. So that was kind of what motivated them to stay on. So I did not expect that, I kind of had such an impact on them. I actually didn't think I had an impact on anybody at all. I was kind of also struggling at that point of time, thinking, like, am I even playing any part in this team? But then, yeah, when I heard that, I was like, caught me off guard. I didn't expect it, and something that I will remember, because, like, by nature, I'm like extremely introverted. I don't talk that much. I guess Raji would know. Yeah, I mean, I don't talk at all. And yeah, but being a senior, that I had to start talking, and I found out that somebody was actually enjoying it. So yeah, that was good for me.
Pretty sure. You're fun to talk to. I can give you that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because see, the only conversations I've had with you are like online, and it's fun. I don't remember meeting a lot of you in person, but like, see, it's fun. But yeah, I think I know those two, Gokul and Milan, but like, yeah, I'd have like, I really have not met anyone else in person. But there's another question that we can go over. Let's wrap it up quick. And then, if you look back at, like, say, the 1.5 years that you've spent online, is there anything that you would have done differently? Like, we've all been so like isolated for so long, far away from something that was once our comfort zone. It's kind of just like picking out and putting in a different setup altogether, right? Is there one thing that you would have? Is there anything that you would have done differently? Do you want to
Can I
go?
go?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, honestly, no. Like, I don't have any regrets about how I spent my time in college. I know that, like, I sort of enjoyed myself to the fullest. And it is true that I didn't talk with many people, but as I do now. But then I was not that comfortable talking. So yeah, I don't have any regrets. I still remember my last stage performance as part of DT. I enjoyed it to the fullest. And yeah, now that it's been so long, I've kind of come to terms with everything. So I'm kind of at peace.
That's good. That's one way to look at it. Yogesh, you're saying something?
Uh, yeah, so if I had known, you'd be like alone for a very long time, I could have talked to more people in general, actually, like rather than, like keeping to myself. Like I kind of realized that this unwillingness to talk, it wasn't like, an introverted or extroverted thing also. Like it's just like people in general. Like honestly, if you make the first move, if you're the first person to message, like, if you message like, say like 10 people, like 9 people are like more than willing to respond very quickly. Like they just, they have that initial friction. Like if you are the one who's breaking the friction, like people are more than happy to, like respond. That was something interesting. Like uh, it was not something that I expected.
Right. Milan?
Uh, God, where do I start? No.
How big is the list?
I should have studied. No.
Okay, studied.
But,
We are talking about 1.5 years ago. It's a bit too late for starting to study.
Oh God.
he's true. I'm not gonna lie. No, but
Yeah,
seriously,
I'm
though,
aware.
I think
Go on.
don't you start to. I would have tried to make the juniors interact with the seniors more. I would have tried to train the juniors more, like, um, because we thought like maybe we would go back in a sem or two. We didn't expect it to go on for this long, so we didn't try to train the juniors that much. Whatever we did also was just like that. So I would have probably tried to push for more training to help them get into the culture of the club, to help them interact more with the seniors, like both the batches that passed out. I think that is my biggest regret.
Mm.
Last 1.5 years.
Right. Go
Rohit,
for it,
I-
Rajiv.
Yeah, is Rajiv?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, no,
Rajesh
so
is-
I just think I didn't give my all in my last few competitions that we had on stage. So I wish I danced like there was no tomorrow. And then I don't know. Just now that I think about it, it's just you never know when you'll get another crew like this to like dance with. Once you get into like the whole job world and all, it'll be kind of hard to keep your passion alive. If you can, good job. I would love to keep it alive, but it's just that fear that I might never get this opportunity again. That's kind of sad. So I just yes.
Should have let you go
Yeah.
last year. It's kind of sweet. It's just depressing. I would have given up sooner. I have an explanation for this. I would have just given up sooner because
Given up. Wait, I have a question. Given up what?
given up. Okay,
On
I
life.
always.
Hey, it's
Ah,
supposed to be like all
okay.
happy, positive, nice.
My
Oh.
phone gave up. My phone gave up on
Oh.
me.
Oh, take your time.
I
to
legit
recharge.
cannot record myself on my phone. Okay, it's fine. No, but by given up, I mean, my main problem has never been like pandemic or like, oh no, I'm staying at home. It's always been I don't know when I will go back or if I will ever get to go back. If I had known then that hey, maybe 2 years is a good estimate, then I think I would have taken a break much sooner. Because I had this tendency to like, oh, we might go back in July 2020. And I burned myself out trying to make something and keep it ready for July 2020. And now I cannot do any of those things. I lost a lot of weight in like December, November, thinking, hey, maybe Jan 2021. And I just gained it back over like the Jan semester. I have this tendency to just push myself till I burn out. And I feel like if I could go back and like change my schedule, I would just take a break and
Right.
maybe do things later on. I would have definitely would have had the same amount of productivity that I had anyway because I was taking unwarranted, unnecessary breaks by burning myself out and not being able to do anything for a month. So I would have just you know, done it in a much healthier way.
You'd have had a routine,
Yeah.
like a proper routine. Hey, that makes sense.
My phone did not record that.
It's okay. This thing did no, so you can take it off of
Yeah.
the Zoom lock. Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, this was great. I think we've pretty much revisited a lot of things that might have been a little hard to talk about, or like say that might bring back certain memories and things like that. And I know it's a lot for a lot of people. So if you had to describe how you're feeling right now in one word, what would you say? Look back at all the things you've discussed. Look back at yourself, how you started, and how different you have become now, right? With respect to like whatever responsibilities you've taken up and like the whole pandemic situation. So now when you look back at the things you've discussed and the time that you've spent in the last like 1.5 years with your team, how do you feel? What's different? And if you had to like give it some explanation, what would that be? Very briefly, no worries.
I guess I've become a bit more responsible because now there's a lot of work in our hands because we have to pass down the whole essence of DT before we pass out, and that too. Hopefully, we get that offline SEM so we can keep DT alive. I think that's the biggest worry for all clubs, just keeping that team alive. So I think yeah, we have all that responsibility. Then I've become a bit more confident about myself dancing. I wasn't too happy with the way I dance or anything. And now since it's in front of one camera, it's your expressions really matter because it's like it's zoomed into your face. Before it's just in the audience, they'll see, oh, there's this one guy just dancing there. But now there's a lot of focus on your face and any mistake is noticeable. So in the start, I hated whatever I did. But now it's just even if it comes up bad, just go with it. Just like if you felt it was right in the moment, I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. So now I just trust the process more. If that makes sense.
Sure does. What about you? Yeah, any of you wants to go?
Yeah, I think personally I've become far more easygoing. like at some point maybe online offline during in campus. I think I used to get irritated. I used to get affected by the issues that were happening around me, within the club or outside. I think now I've just learned to let stuff go, to learn to let my teammates and my club mates take care of stuff that I can't handle and help wherever I can. I think that's yeah, that's it.
So I think I used to give up very early, like in general itself. So because of pandemic, since we had a lot of free time, I think I've learned to take things step by step. Like as long as you do take the next step, it does not matter. Like I mean that there's it does not matter how many steps you take. Yeah, as long as you take one step, you if you end the day better than it started, you won the day. It's kind of a mental dialogue that I have within myself. So that has helped me.
So over the past couple years, I feel like I have definitely become more confident. I remember as the time that I spent in college, I really wasn't very confident at all. That might just be a fact that we were all juniors at the time. So yeah, that too, like getting a position of responsibility, I wasn't really sure, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I exceeded my expectations that I had of myself, which were quite low at the beginning. And another thing, it might be cheesy to say, but I feel like it really hasn't been that bad. Like, just think about even the online time. Um, we were able to spend like more time with our family, and I don't think we wouldn't have gotten this kind of time if we were in college. And that's something like even if we do bicker a lot and we're always because we're always in the same space, I feel like I will really cherish this time, and it hasn't been as bad as it looks from the outside.
Gokul?
Try to record myself. Let's see how long the video lasts. Okay. The last time I recorded a video, it lasted 1 minute.
You have a minute to talk. Come on.
One thing I have been doing is I've started reprioritizing a lot of things with like regards to mental health. I used to see it as like, okay, that is something that I need to work on myself for. Oh, okay, fine, you have okay, fine, you have trauma, deal with it later. That was a genuine response I used to have. Like, hey, when I'm growing older and I can afford therapy, maybe then I will go to a therapist. Maybe then I will consider it. But now it's become much more it's dangerously important to everyday functioning. So I have to spend time and like emotional labor and okay, maybe I need to spend some time not doing anything, no matter how bad that will make me feel, in order to be able to attend this meeting today. So I need to I've started scheduling based on this. So this has become much more important of a factor in like my everyday life. That makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely does. That's good then, because I think at the end of the day, when you are put in a situation like that, you learn to adapt. At least that's how we're all made to exist, right? Like we learn to adapt. And I think you've all done really well because you're making a lot of people happy. People who probably open their phone and are not feeling too fine, and then they look at it and you bring a smile onto their faces. So that's a very, very important thing to do. It's a very difficult thing to do. So the fact that you're putting in the effort and time that it takes to get there is pretty cool. So if no one else is telling you that, I'm going to tell you that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the comments and like all the likes and everything in terms of today's language is a visible representation of how many people love you all. So it's good. It's pretty cool. Oh, Sandhya just went off. Yeah, we're all okay. By the way, it's done, guys. I think it's chill. I can actually ask you a question about how you've been taking care of your mental health. And you can all answer.
Yeah.
You don't.
No?
I mean,
You don't want to,
are you sure
I
you
think it's
want
nice.
to know?
Wait, are we going to do the mental health question?
Worst case, we'll have extra content. Best case, like
yeah.
we'll have nice content.
What is not nice, huh?
I mean, worst case,
He said
you're
what
not-
he said.
Okay, everybody reset. We have one more question. How have you been taking care of your mental health? Like, there's just so much media that's out there for you to consume. There are news articles. There's just a lot of information that's been taken in by all of us. So in spite of all of that, and like you having your own share of responsibilities to take care of, how have you been making sure that you're physically and mentally okay and doing well?
It's been very rough, to be honest, because if you've been spending like 1.5 years by yourself, like with just 3 people, like I love my family and everything, but it's not just that much social interaction is not enough for me. I need to be meeting my other people. I need to be meeting my friends and new people. So a way I found to cope with all the negative emotions and all the bad days that I've been having is just playing music, like playing music on my phone and just like sitting on my bed, taking some time to relax and just like not letting my other commitments get to me. I take time off of Tespi. I'm sorry, Gokul. I don't tell them I'm taking time off of Tespi. I just take time off and I just like calm down. If something gets too much for me, I make it a point to get out of that situation. And again, just chill, calm down, listen to music, maybe talk to some of my friends on WhatsApp or Instagram. More or less, it's talking to people and playing music.
if Yogesh says I play theater and I sit on my bed, I'm going
I didn't hear it got cut.
No,
What
no.
did you say?
He kept saying I'll play music. If you say I play theater and I'm sitting on my bed,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, man. Okay, I mean, dude, actually, no, I mean, I actually wanted to say, like uninstall social media, but it goes against, what we're doing right now. So I couldn't say that. I mean, I
It's
really,
fine. You can.
Okay, so first thing is, I don't know if I should say this, but I mean, for 2 months or something, like just uninstall all your social media. Yeah, and second is go out of your way and talk to more people. Like, like your initial attempts would, would be like really frightening and all, but honestly, like with practice or like, I mean, the more number of times you do it, like you'll realize it's not. I mean, it's not really that scared. I mean, you don't have to be that scared to like talk to people. Yeah, and third is like don't give up very easily. Like realize, I mean, you're putting a lot of significance on things. Like take life or like take things easier. Like things don't matter as much as you think they do.
The way I take care like of my mental health whenever I'm feeling low is I just immediately either go talk with my family or I call a friend. And if one friend isn't picking up, I'll just call all my friends until somebody picks up. Like I don't care. I just need to talk now. I'll just make sure they're not busy and I'll just start talking because like yeah, if the once I say something and if I have a good cry, then I feel a lot better. I always feel better sharing with people. Um, and also I kind of have made myself, I don't feel that guilty, about taking a break. I just accept that sometimes you do need a break and sometimes you are not productive and you can't do anything about it. I remember that used to be, I think like Gokul said, it used to be a constant source of guilt for me that I'm not doing anything at this particular period of time. But now since everybody feels like that, right? Especially in lockdown, like it's difficult to do stuff. I just accept that and I don't do anything and I try not to think about, the deadlines. I'll just push it a bit and just sit, like just scroll through my phone or just play a song or something. So yeah, these two things are what I do.
Yeah. Perfect. Gokul.
Rajiv.
Gokul.
Cool. I don't mind.
No. Oh, okay. Wait,
No,
what?
Rajiv will have something very sweet.
What do you not mind?
Rajiv will have
Rajiv will
something
have
Yeah.
something
No.
very
Of course, it's sweet. I just feel
You
so.
heard that, right?
Yes.
That was
I
my
heard
phone. That was my phone saying
Calling.
Rajiv.
That was your phone saying Rajiv.
It actually fell, man.
Oh,
It's the
God.
double tape. It's wearing off. Oh, and it
Yes,
started
we
recording
need.
without my consent. Okay. I pressed the volume button while trying to place it. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
who has like sweet things to say?
Rajiv, so he
I
should
don't
go
think
later.
it's not sweet. It's just so start of quarantine was really hard because like I was first of all away from my family and I was living with my aunt and uncle. So it was just me alone with my thoughts in a room. So it got pretty sad and intense. Like for like a couple of months where you're just like thinking of all your mistakes you've done and you're just like blaming yourself, oh, you should have done this better, that better. Because also there was no classes, nothing to keep you busy. It was just you thinking all the time. So I guess one thing is just forgive yourself like a lot. Just like everyone makes mistakes and that's super fun. You're meant to make mistakes. That's one thing a senior also told me. Just make mistakes, but as long as you learn from it, it's good. So I know it's just forgive yourself. If you've done anything wrong, just forgive yourself and move on. Don't think about it. That's one thing I learned. And then second thing was I finally got to reconnect with my brother after a long time. So it was just very refreshing. So it's just I always keep my worries to myself and it just builds up and then I take it out on people sometimes. So but with my brother, I was able to just tell him everything. Like he like really like he told me like he makes the same mistakes. It's totally fine. Like I don't know why you're blaming yourself for so many things. So it's just all these things that really helped me. And also he got me good food. So that was like a huge mood booster. But yeah, it was just it's nice when you get to talk to people about your problems. That really helps leave a lot of the weight on your chest. It's one thing I learned.
That's good. Now, Gokul.
Soumya, how about you?
Yeah,
I can
Ooh,
put
actually,
you
dude,
first.
good point.
We
In
should.
the end, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah.
In the end, we'll do
I
that.
mean,
That's what make another video.
my method has been directly opposite Milan's. In that in college, that it's not very different than it was before the pandemic. I distract myself by occupying myself with work or things like that. So I just started doing more of that in the pandemic. And I was thinking to myself the whole time, like, oh, this is unhealthy. You should not be taking up these responsibilities. But not really. Like I can recommend it to people who do that to occupy themselves. It is a good coping mechanism for the time being. Plus, if you do feel unproductive, it comes with this immense sense of guilt. But the other, what is it? The idea of not having anything to do is worse. And I feel like that might be specific to a lot of people. It's not generally like, oh, you should keep yourself occupied to make yourself feel better. It's more like if you have to keep yourself occupied, it's kind of fine too. It is understandable if you don't if chilling and just not doing anything freaks you out. Understandable. That makes sense. Soumya,
Right? Yes, what?
how have you been dealing with your mental health over the pandemic? I mean,
I
you
mean-
started Hope, so clearly you have something to talk about.
Definitely, yeah. But again, it's a. I think when the pandemic started, I was I had just like gotten home, and it was a lot of, I would say, a combination of learning and unlearning, because I had not spent so much time with my family in so long. And suddenly, after 5 years of like not being together, we're all together for like straight up like 9 months. And both the kids in the family, myself and my sister, we had both graduated her from like school, and I had done my undergrad, and we really had nothing to do in life. And we were at home. Okay, so it felt really weird for my parents to have two very grown children in their house, just existing, and like, not have anything to look forward to. So that is also when in like personally, when you talk about mental health, I have required, I have felt the need to like say reach out and talk and things like that. And when the pandemic hit and everything went online and you're isolated, I was with my family though. It was still very difficult for me to like wake up every day with nothing to do, right? So it all did become a little hard. I did become a little hard on myself. I didn't have a routine. And that's when Hope came around. The idea of Hope came around rather. And it was a bunch of us. It was initially 3 of us randomly talking about starting something like this. This is more than like a year ago, like maybe a year and a half ago or something. And we were like, you know what, this is the best time to do it, because we've tried doing this when we were in campus physically, and something or the other comes up and it's just very difficult to start something like this. So I would say the process of getting Hope in place, setting up the team and everything else along with the rest of us, because it's not just me, it's a wonderful team of 11 people. I love them to bits, the rest of them. It's and it's so funny because there are just people that have just not met each other in person, but we're still just as close as I would think any team would be if you're just put together in the same room, and people cover for each other. So I think just starting something like this in the middle of the pandemic with people that I had not interacted with before kind of got me out of feeling really lost. So in a way, doing this made me not go into a spiral of just not doing anything, you know. So alongside what I was doing with my grad school and like setting that up, everything, I also made sure that the Hope work was going around. And today, like when I look back, it's been like a year and a half. The idea came in like say April of like last year, and it's been a long time since then. And look where we are. It's almost a year. There are more people, the amount of stuff we have. We're all everywhere randomly in different parts of the world, and this is still happening. So I think this is one main chunk of like say a big part of my life in the last 1 year, and this is probably the reason why I was very sane through it and did not feel lost or like, you know, that I needed more help, because this in turn just making sure that other people have resources to reach out and setting that up became a way of like life for me, and I really like it. It kind of saved me too. So it's a give and take. I don't think I become very emotional when I talk about this team, because I've been a part of multiple clubs, but this one's very special.